Okay, well, we just dropped an everyone tag. We're live. We're here. We're celebrating 6 months of LinksDAO. So, welcome to everyone here in the audience, and congratulations to all of you for making it this far. And I want to give my sincere personal thanks not only to the people up here on the stage, but everyone tuned in, everyone listening to this recording after the fact, everyone who's joined the Discord, been a member from the beginning or from the middle, or if you joined us today. Just absolutely super stoked on this whole community, this whole team, and none of it would be possible without all of your support. So just, absolutely thrilled and grateful and hype to be here today. We're halfway to a year, started on New Year's, and we have some big updates and exciting information for you all today. Potentially a special guest here at the end. And keep in mind, if you stick around to the end, ETH is going to have a PO-op for you, and there will be prizes associated with that PO-op. A raffle of sorts will occur, and those details will be available in the announcements here soon. If you want to follow along, ask questions, or chime in, the Podium Questions channel has been removed from archives and is back at the top of community. So don't be shy. Go ahead and chat it up in there while we do this. And I will be dropping some visual aids in there later in the chat when we get to Mr. Senor Hill's section, for everybody to be able to follow along visually as we go through this. So thanks again, everybody. I would love to pass it off now to Bez and Jim to talk about everybody's favorite topic, when course.
Cool. Thanks, Coop. And everybody that is unaware, if you hadn't heard on the Discord, Bez and his lovely wife had a second baby recently. So Bez is him being up here tonight and dedicating himself over the last week to the mission, as he always does, is a pretty amazing thing, and made a little bit more complicated by a screaming child. So Bez, congratulations, and we thank you, buddy.
Thanks, appreciate it. Well, we're in a slightly bigger place than my old apartment, so hopefully I'm in a relatively soundproof area. We won't have any background noise here. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Cool. Yeah. So there's been a lot of interesting developments in the last, I would say, month to 6 weeks, in kind of our common goal of buying a golf course, kind of rethinking what membership experience feels like, looks like, what the community has the ability to steer in terms of the overall project vision. So Bez and I have been talking to all of the major golf course ownership and management companies, really since the inception of the project. And there was a proposal that was put out. I'm sure many of you on the podium tonight remember. There was a proposal that was put out to basically say, should we be working with a professional in this space to help us kind of get to our ultimate goal, with the expertise necessary to buy, renovate, open, and manage a world-class golf course. Of course, everybody said yes. And what we've been doing over the last couple weeks is we've been working with a couple of different partners, Kemper being our first. For anybody that doesn't know Kemper is one of the top golf course management companies. They manage Bandon Dunes, they manage Sand Valley, they manage Stream Song, and a slew of other really top-notch resort-type courses. And they've been helping us to source some really interesting opportunities. So on our journey together of finding the right golf course, there's just a couple things I want everybody to keep in mind. One, there's not an unlimited amount of golf courses out there at any given time. Two, as we're looking for a golf course, we're going to be involving the community more and more and more. And Mr. Senior Hill and Coop are going to talk about that a little bit later. And three, in terms of maintaining our negotiation leverage to get the right place at the right price, we need to keep it relatively tight in terms of the places that we are looking at and that we're considering, so we don't bring in undesired competition. So I can tell you a couple different things. One, we've looked at a couple different properties over the last 2 weeks, both in the southeast of the United States. One is an incredible championship course that has a very unique opportunity for us. It's been closed for a little while, but will be relatively easy to open back up, and is within an earshot of a major U.S. airport. Another one, which was one of the best top-rated golf courses in its state and within 45 minutes of a major international airport, is another one that we looked at. And there's been a third opportunity that's been brought to us in the greater New York City area that would provide a little bit more golf, 27 holes, that we're also taking a look at. So suffice it to say, we're starting to make some serious progress with our friends at Kemper on sourcing a property that's going to be our first, not our last, but our first Genesis Links course, which I know for everybody that's listening in right now, that's our community North Star, right? That's what we're all moving towards. We're also in conversations with the other two major management companies, being Troon and Club Corp, and they're also extremely interested in getting involved in our project. So I think we're going to be in a nice space to have one or more than one of kind of the big three in this area helping and providing really unique benefits to our community. So a lot of work has been done in the background. A lot of flights have been taken. A lot of very hot and sweaty walks have been taken in the southeast of the United States in June. So this is moving along beautifully. The other interesting update in terms of what I've been up to in the last couple weeks is I went out last week and I spent a few hours at the Callaway global headquarters. So Chip Brewer, who's the CEO of Callaway, and also is the one that I negotiated our deal with on this project, is a really big supporter of what we're doing and wants to help in any way possible. I think probably most interesting for everybody on this call, we're also talking to Callaway about finding ways that our members can go out to their PGA Tour Pro fitting facility and get custom fit by all their kind of top-notch fitters for Callaway clubs. We're also looking at different ways that we can bring additional value to the LinksDAO community through our friends at Callaway. So this is just something I wanted to mention because, again, the amount of time and effort that the largest public company in golf is spending on our project, one, is exactly the right amount that they should be, because we are completely rethinking what golf and community can be as a group and as a family. But two, just so you know how interested the mainstream golf community is and golf business community is in supporting our project. Okay. Bez, anything you want to add on that?
I would just say a couple other things. One, on the architect and designer front, obviously we haven't engaged any formally at this point. We've kind of leaked here and there the names of people that we've spoken with. It'd be worth including here just to find out how engaged the broader design and architecture community is. So we've spoken, been on calls and Zoom calls with, at this point, Bill Core, Gil Hance, Kyle Franz, David McClay Kidd, Renaissance Group, which is Tom Doak's group, Keith Rebb, Rob Collins from King Collins, who did Sweetens Cove, GR, so Tigers design group, and then someone from Fazio's group. Not to mention Reese Jones and Robert Trent Jones the third. So at this point, virtually every architect that we'd want to speak with, we've been engaged with to some degree. And this is actually another really interesting channel that we've been able to lean into sourcing opportunities. So Kyle Franz has explicitly sent us multiple opportunities, one from a renovation, redesign point. Also, as we think about sort of the broader LinksDAO network going forward, now actually been sent two really compelling properties that would make for a new build from scratch. One in the southeast as well, a major airport, also not far from some very good public golf. And then another one in the Pacific Northwest that is on the coast and also not far from a major, very interesting public golf location. So, to Jim's point, we've obviously been actively looking at properties in conjunction with Kemper, who's shared a number with us. We're also leaning into a bunch of different channels to see opportunities, and I think that's a good jumping off point for how Cooper and I had a conversation the last couple of days about this, how we want to engage the broader LinksDAO membership and community when it comes to sourcing and evaluating properties, because ultimately this is a decision that we want our members to have some influence over and to help steer, optimize what the acquisition looks like. Maybe, if you think that would be a good spot now to share a little bit about how we've been thinking through next steps look like on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of you have already found the alpha. For those of you who have not, you will notice that we have, for now, please forgive me, a few more channels in the Discord. Over the weekend, there will be a lot of channels removed, and I look forward to feedback from everybody here. If I delete your favorite channel, it's only archived. Don't panic. We can bring it back, but we will be reducing a little bit. But for the moment, we have increased the number of channels, and I'm about to drop an @everyone tag for our first poll. Should we buy a golf course? Is the first poll, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a positive reaction here. Look at that number pumping up, already 50 yeses. So you'll see that we have a right above that channel a recommend course form. This is a new initiative. Early on in the project, I was scrolling back in December when this all started. There was a ton of great ideation and talk of golf courses. We're now, as Jim and Bez just went through, really getting deep into that process, and we want to work with everyone in the community on sourcing your favorite course that may be for sale. So you can fill out that form, and if you want to be involved in the process of speaking to contacts of that course, we welcome members to do so and get involved and be a part of this experiment of buying a golf course as a community. So that form is open for submissions right now. Just as a side note, if you do want to be involved in some of these conversations, we may request that you docs or provide a little bit more than just a Discord handle as a point of reference for security as we work through these sensitive conversations with partners. But we are really looking forward to involving the community in deep phases and conversations on this aspect of our project. Additionally, we have conversation channels open for general discussion of course acquisition, architecture and design, location, and rules and culture. So if you're a member, you want to get involved, you're particularly excited about these aspects of the course, hop into those channels, start talking, and we will continue to evaluate this phase and potentially build out pods like we have for other aspects of this project. So if you really want to be on the rules committee, or you really want to talk about design and work with the team on some of these aspects, this is starting to happen right now. So hop on up into those channels. We're also going to be dropping a poll probably once a week or once every 10 days as we go into these conversations with course sourcing and management partners and some of the other golf industry people that Bez listed that we've been talking to get community feedback and work with all of you to make this a reality. So those channels are open now, and that'll continue to evolve as we go through the process. Really excited to be diving into the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here. We've had a ton of fun getting started and kind of integrating ourselves into the golf world with all of these benefits, partnerships, collaborations that we've had with legacy golf companies and as well as Web3 projects. But we're getting into the thing. We're going to do the thing here now. So stoked to be a part of all of this with you. And if anybody else have any notes on the when course question up here on stage. All right. Well, with that being said, we're moving to the next phase here. I did get confirmation that our special guest will be attending here before the end of the podium, so very excited about that. But I want to take a moment to look back. If you're new, if you're just joining, you want to get caught up on the progress. The first half of the year was an exciting one. We kicked it off with an NFT sale January 1st and 2nd. We sold out after 5 hours of public sale for 9,090 NFTs, of which yesterday only like 83 were listed, which was a pretty cool thing. It's been a diamond-handed community, and we're stoked to have all of our members here as a part. We kicked it off with partnerships with 5-Iron Golf, Shipsticks, Minimal Golf, and the list goes on and on. If you have not yet had a chance, please go to clubhouse.linksdao.io and check out your benefits. It's a token-gated website that Mr. Senor Hill and the dev team have done an awesome job setting up. You can fill out your member profile. You can view all of the benefits and how to redeem them. And that's how you get your discounts at places like Callaway, your discounts at places like Mizzen and Maine, which we announced today, and all of our other partners that are listed on that page. So shout out to the partnerships pod and this team for developing those relationships. We have our members token gated pro shop as well as the public pro shop. That's proshop.linksdao.io for your merch. You can be dripped out in LinksDAO swag when you go to the course. That launched right after our South by Southwest in real life event in March in Austin, which was much colder than you'd expect Texas to be, but we had a great time with 150 of our members out there in Texas. And then I mentioned the Clubhouse already. That's going to continue to be in phases of development and continue to improve and be a real hub for this membership, especially for those of you who are just tuning in that maybe Discord isn't your favorite place to interact and you just kind of want a members hub to access latest information, updates, etc. And then most recently we announced our partnership with Callaway, which is just a really exciting one that Jim touched on as well. And many of you were at NFT NYC this past week, where we hosted Michelob Ultra, Bridgestone with the ball fitting, and our partners from Web3 projects like Lip Sweater and Garage. Such a great time meeting you at 5-Iron, playing golf with many of you at Bayonne and Bethpage. The vibes are just reaching all-time highs here. So if you have any other memories or things that you've loved about the first 6 months of LinksDAO, please tweet them and tag us, whether it be a screenshot of your favorite thing to happen in Discord, your favorite tweet that we sent out, or just a round of golf that you've been able to play with another member from the location chats or some other aspect. I would love to see your favorite memory, and we'll be retweeting those from the first 6 months of LinksDAO and interacting with them. And it's just been such a wild and awesome ride with you all. So I wanted to thank, everybody again for making this such a special journey. It's been a really cool first half of the year. And with that being said, I'd like to pass it over to Greg to talk about where we're going. So that's where we've been, right? It's only been 6 months. We've done quite a lot. And I would love to talk about what is happening next. I'd like to direct your attention as well to the podium questions chat, where I'll be dropping visual aids to go along with Mr. Senor's talk here so that we can follow along together.
Hello. Yeah, so we can't stream in a podium, which is why Cooper will be posting the slides. Basically a deck we put together as a community team to articulate sort of what do the next 3 months look like for this project. So look in there, you'll be able to see them. Shout out to Patrick for the slide designs. As always, they look great. So as Cooper said, let's talk about what's happening next. The thing I'll start with is this sort of like evolving partnership between the community team and the core team. So like you'll see some things in this deck that are only related to what the community team is focused on. So there are things that the core team is doing that you won't see here. We obviously talk about those things. We'll talk a little bit about the one more thing at the end, but for the most part, we're talking about community team today. And there's 4 objectives, and these are long tail things. Right? These aren't things that happen immediately. We will not complete the objectives in Q3, but these are North Stars that this community team is driving towards. And the 4 of them are, number 1, obviously, as we've talked about for the first 20 minutes, we're gonna buy a golf course. And so how we work together to meet that mission is incredibly important, which is why we delineated that as number 1 objective and its own objective. Number 2, we want to develop the world's best online golf community. So there's a lot of conversation about what that means and what does engagement mean that I'll talk about, but that's incredibly important for the DAO. Number three, we want to become a platform for golf play amongst members. As a product manager, I'm incredibly passionate about sort of building out this ability for members to connect more. It's happened a lot organically. It's happened at events. It's happened at Discord. But how do we pour gasoline onto the fire? Because we know that people want to play together, and not just in real life, but also digitally. And then objective number four, making LinksDAO a world-class operation. DAOs are new. And so how do we, both for the community team, sort of scale the effort, make sure that people are supported, and make sure that people feel plugged in, efficient, and that the community benefits from an organization that is delivering a ton of value to the community writ large. So as far as objective number one, again, buying a golf course, there's a couple key areas here that I want to zoom in on. First, sourcing courses. Cooper's already talked about open new channels, starting to talk a lot more specifically about properties that can become into a funnel that we can evaluate and discuss more. You will see a lot of in-course programming throughout the quarter, because as we start to make a lot of momentum in this direction, it's something that we should be talking about very frequently. Secondly, governance. So we need to figure out the right way to involve the win course programming into our governance processes. I'll talk a little bit about the new governance process that we're going to release an RFC on today, but we, there are going to be very specific things we want to make sure we put up to community vote. So timing those, making sure the proposals are excellent, making sure they have enough time to breathe an RFC, make sure that as many people vote on those as possible is incredibly important. Thirdly, we're going to over fucking communicate. Like, it's really, really important that we talk about this all the time, because we want to make sure that the community is involved. And so the more that we can provide updates, the more people are aware, the more engaged people are, the better this process is going to be for the DAO. Next up, renovation restoration. So as we actually get a course, and I'm not committing to any specific timeline in Q3 for that course, right? That's going to take time. But once we get the course, we want to also be prepared to think about how do we make decisions about what that course should be? What is the style of play? All these different things that you can close your eyes and you can start to imagine what this course is going to be like. We want to make sure that we have a solid fountain of ideas that we can make sure that that course is the best that it can possibly be. And then lastly, when we select and purchase the course, right? Once we have the course we want, once we actually make the purchase, how do we hype that up? How do we make sure everyone's aware? How do we make sure that all of the folks that have been involved in this process feel like that is the milestone event that it's going to be? And I'll take a bunch of questions too, by the way, and hopefully you can see the pictures here. It's incredibly awkward to speak into a microphone and just present something that people can't see, but we'll go. Objective number two, developing the world's best online community. So when it comes to the community itself, a lot of the community lives in Discord now, right? We talk in Discord, we announce things in Discord. There's other things that we can do. But as Cooper alluded to earlier, there's definitely improvements that we can make to the channel experience. There's definitely room for improvement that Dom has been working on as far as code of conduct. And there's lots more sort of community artifacts that we can create together to make this an exciting place to be. And also announce that to the world so that other people can see how exciting of a community LinksDAO is. We also wanted to sort of better understand, you've seen surveys that we tried to sort of get a temperature check on how the community feels about certain things. Obviously, governance is a way to tap into that. But we also want to make sure that we just sort of better can answer the questions about what engagement is. It's not just talking in Discord. Not everybody wants to do that, right? Not everybody wants to post. Some people like to lurk. Some people show up to podiums and that's it. Some people don't open up Discord at all. So by understanding better what people want and better understanding how people interact with the community, we can create a bunch more touch points so that people feel included without having to use Discord every time. Next, we expect as we continue to make momentum and continue to build partnerships that we will continue to grow. And as we grow, what we want to make sure is that people can come into the community and have a place to be, whether that's as a member and they want to go all the way to contributing in the community team, awesome. If someone just wants to jump in every once in a while and tap into what's going on, that's fine too. But understanding how to give people a path from finding out about the DAO to being able to get involved in the way that's right for them is very important. Next, increasing LinksDAO brand awareness. Like, we are a community and the community itself supports itself, but we want to make sure that other people have an opportunity to recognize what this is. That allows for new members to come in, that builds more excitement. And we want to work on a new merch drop. We want to be able to have more things that we can all wear. I know that I'm almost at the point where I can wear a LinksDAO shirt every day of the work week. I'd like to have more myself, but I'm sure a lot of you have been clamoring for different types of things to wear, or there's lots of different options that we can have. So we want to continue to work on how do we increase brand awareness, not just on social, but also physically as well. As far as touch points to members, one that I'm very passionate about is the Clubhouse. We have a roadmap for the Clubhouse in the next 6 months. We know sort of what the biggest problems we want to tackle are. We're currently working on an entire brand refresh of the site so that it will come up to the standard that the public site does. And then we're going to start building in lots of touch points that are interesting as a platform, whether that be announcements, way to find golf with friends, being able to participate in alpha with other NFT projects. The possibilities are endless. And then lastly, just we have partnerships and a lot of great partnerships. The partnership team has killed it in the first half of the year. How do we better leverage the partnerships we have, whether that be in content or programming or experiences that we can have, but also how do we find new partnerships that the membership cares about? So that's something that we're constantly thinking about, is what are the different pieces of the golf life cycle that we can partner with external organizations that make this more exciting for all of you. Moving on to objective 3, becoming the platform for golf play amongst members. So this is something that we did a lot sort of organically in the first half of the year, and we noticed that it's something that people get really excited about. We obviously put on events that were hyper-local. You had to travel to a certain place to go do that. We want to expand to allow for a lot more people to benefit by playing golf with each other and other members. And so one is, you've heard a lot about the Global Golf Association that Tungsten and Steve Palm have been working on. How do we productize that? How do we make that something that members can connect with each other to play? Also, you've heard about link ups. Again, want to productize that. How do we make it really easy for you to be able to hop into the Clubhouse and just find a round with another LinksDAO member, whether that be near you or potentially planning a trip? And then we also want to explore sort of more novel events that allow for more members to participate, whether that be at places like 5-Iron, whether that be places like Topgolf, or that be at your local course. Secondly, starting to expand more on sort of a digital footprint of golfing play, right? A lot of gamers or golfers don't have to go to a course to play golf. And so how do we think about building out a PGA 2022 course? How do we start to think about having streaming of excellent PGA Tour players? These are things that are content that people have asked for, we can deliver on, and it's an exciting thing to do when you can't make it to a course. And then lastly, how do we sort of, a big thing in the surveys came out, which was more sort of betting and fantasy. We have a partnership with DraftKings. How do we continue to leverage that so it adds this layer of excitement while you're watching golf? Participating in daily fantasy, participating in tournament betting, these are things we want to explore in Q3. And then lastly, before I wrap up here, is objective 4, really focus on making LinksDAO a world-class operation. So we just started in January. We all hopped in the Discord. We started doing a bunch of work. How do we scale? How do we make community contributor rewards much clearer so that more people can participate, more people can know what they're doing? We passed a Proposition 6 and we pay people out for their work, but how do we start to integrate that into stable processes? Next, how do we continue to double down on health and security of Discord? Everyone knows Web3 can sometimes be a scary space. Cooper has done a tremendous job keeping us all safe. How do we continue to do that? Doing regular security audits, putting on-call processes in place that can just only strengthen Discord itself. One thing that we'll be launching in RFC today is the new governance process. We initially shipped the governance process V1 in January, but Jared has put a ton of work and the rest of the community team has provided a lot of feedback to get us to a place where we can have a new expanded governance process. That means that we can allow for ideas to sort of germinate and bubble up and become requests for comment, and allow those requests to comment to breathe longer, and then allow for them to be snapshot votes and executed. Next, we want to focus on launching Pods V3. When we launched this first version of the working community team Pods, we thought a lot about this corporate organization where you had different orgs and each of those orgs worked on things. What we recognize is that people tend to cross-pollinate a lot more. People work together across pods. And so how do we think about like adding layers throughout the pod system that not only from a sort of planning perspective, but also an execution perspective and a collaboration perspective that sort of iterates on our organizational health. Last two for objective 4, community tooling. There are tools that we use to help us scale. We have things in place. You'll see clarity when we talk about the roadmap. Obviously, other things like Commonwealth that we'll be launching for our RFC process, Discord itself. There's a whole bunch of tooling that the operations pod manages. And so we want to be able to scale those, support those easier, and make it more clear for people when they jump into the community team how to get access to what they need, and then also keep those things secure. And then lastly, it's just all about communication. I mentioned number 1, we're going to over communicate on the course. We're going to over communicate on everything. People jumping into the Discord haven't been there for a while. It's hard, right? You don't want to go through all the channels. You'd miss some podium. You want to see it recorded. You want to see it written down. How do we continue to create touch points for people to understand always what's going on as quickly as possible so that you feel always engaged? And then 2 more things I want to talk about. One is the Q3 roadmap itself. So everything that I've talked about is sort of a high-level layer of the work that's going on in the community team in Q3. And I am just here humbly representing the community team. There's dozens of people who work in it who are delivering all of the things that we're talking about. All of that will be tracked in a tool called Clarity. It's somewhat like Notion or like Asana or a project management tool, but it's a Web3 native tool that allows for us to not only keep track of work, but also keep track of contributor rewards. And so for each of these tasks, it transparently can show sort of what the person is earning as part of the Prop 6 budget, as well as anyone can dive in and see all the work that's happening. So not only can you say, hey, I'd like to raise my hand and get involved in that, or I just want to know why something's taking so long, it'll all be there and it'll all be present. And then one more thing I want to talk about. And so one thing that was absent sort of from the community team part of this conversation was the PFP. A lot of people have asked about the PFP, so I want to provide a quick update on it. We have been working with a creative director that was introduced to us by a member of the community. We had a couple of initial conversations with them. We did some early exploratory work to get at sort of what is the PFP that we want. And now we're in the process of actually generating through artists a bunch of different types of characters that could eventually become the PFP. So I'm not ready to share those yet, but we will be sharing them soon. And so one thing that you'll hear from me a lot in Q3 as we lead up to the launch, hopefully in Q3, is the actual sort of art that we're thinking about. You'll have a chance to give feedback. You'll have a chance to be able to see them. There'll be some alpha stuff. And then ultimately, as we lead into the launch, people will be able to mint their LinksDAO PFP, which I know that it's going to take a lot for me to swap out my raccoon, but I'm really fucking excited to see the PFP and have it be my profile picture. And then last thing, just quick last slide, just go ahead and take a look at this when you have a chance in the chat. This just shows all the different touch points and places where you can get information from us. Obviously, Discord and Twitter are huge. Clubhouse is going to be shipping with better announcements, notifications. So if you want to opt into notifications, you can just get emails or text messages whenever we post an important announcement, so you don't have to constantly be vibing in Discord. And then lastly, like I mentioned before, Clarity. If you go into Clarity, it's a link that I had on slide 8. I'll also post it in the chat. Anyone can go through there, authenticate via your token, and see the roadmap. So that's the Q3 plan. That's what the community team is going to be working on. I'm excited to answer any questions you have. I see a bunch of chats going through the Discord. I'll go back through and answer any that were there, but in a Q&A, if people have questions, happy to answer those. And with that, I will pass it over to my friend Coop.
Thank you so much for running through that. And if you missed it, we will have those slides posted in a chat that isn't full of really excited people, so you can review them and ask questions after this. But I do want to turn it over quickly before we get to the POAP and the drawings and giveaways to our friend Nick Walker, who wants to introduce a special guest.
What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. Didn't catch COVID like me at NFT NYC. But yeah, so excited to try to bring someone up to speak with us here. Give me one sec.
See if we can find him in the sea of names. I wish this was alphabetical. If you're here and you know who you are, click request to speak. There we go. All right. Everyone, please give a big, warm LinksDAO welcome to Roger Steele.
Yo. How you guys feeling?
Oh, we're feeling
What's
good.
what's
Hey,
good, Roger? Can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you guys.
Hey,
Awesome.
Roger, what's happening?
Man, what's up with y'all, man? This is amazing. I just want to tell you all that, I've been admiring the things that you guys are doing. All these people coming together for these great causes, sitting here listening to this meeting. I'm just very inspired by the fact that in the world that we live in today, we can get this many like-minded people to unify around a cause as special as what we're doing in the golf space. And I just really wanted to commend you guys on all your progress, your partnerships over the last 6 months. This is truly impeccable what you guys are on the verge of doing in golf.
Yeah, likewise, Roger. I know we only connected last week for the first time, and we're just seeing the chat blast off with all the people who do know who you are. But maybe for those who don't, could you maybe just give a quick introduction about yourself and how you're helping in the game today, and talk about what you got going on tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, my name's obviously Roger, and really what I've been trying to do is advocate for growth and diversity in the game, but trying to do it in like a healthy and more fun way. I think the opportunity that we have is, this game is so amazing, and it allows us to interact with people from so many different backgrounds, and it allows you to make all of those people your peers. And this is really an unprecedented opportunity in sport to come into something that allows you to, shrink the world in such a way. And I really want everyone to understand the opportunity that, taking up golf as a part of your lifestyle is. And so I've been, trying to advocate for people to get involved. I do a lot of work with the youth. I do a lot of work with, just millennials that never thought that golf could be something that they were passionate about. I spend a lot of time with athletes. As I hear you guys run off your list of partners, I work with a lot of them, Callaway, 5-iron. And it really seems like we're at a space and time in golf where people are looking for a better form of community. And that's something that I'm, actively looking to build with people that care about the game, but also care about being themselves and protecting, who they are authentically and representing themselves authentically. And so, I've been on a mission to bring brands up to speed as far as how they need to speak to people that are coming into the golf space. What we've seen is as an uptick in participation, especially through COVID. And I want to make sure that we retain all of that same excitement for the game. We have a lot of curiosity. We have a lot of, newcomers coming in. And I want to make sure that when they come here, they see golf in all of its beauty. And, speaking to you all and connecting with you, Nick, about what LinksDAO is doing and obviously hearing about it many times before, I think that this is one of the dopest opportunities in the game right now.
Yeah, awesome. Agreed. And, likewise about the accessibility of the game and growing the game, and we'll hope you'll do it along with us. We've actually added you in advance to be part of our Grow the Game pod, so you can help us do that going forward. So looking forward to that. But maybe talk to us a little bit about what you got going on tomorrow with Youth on Course, which was, my reason for reaching out and something that really appealed to me. And would love to hear what you've done to get involved with them, and what your next 24 hours are going to look like out on the course.
Yeah, the next 24 hours is sheer insanity. So I'd rather, but whatever. Anyway, so, growing up, I'm from the west side of Chicago, and we didn't have a lot of golf accessible to us. We had this 9-hole course. And the only reason that I was able to experience the game was because the starter there was friends with my dad. And when I would come up, he wouldn't really charge my dad that much. My dad maybe slide him a $5 bill or something like that, and he'd be able to take me out to go play. And, without that, the barriers for me to experience this game, I likely wouldn't have had that relationship with it built that soon. And so growing up, I understood that accessibility was a huge barrier to getting, more kids involved in golf and to retain them in the game. if they could pick up a basketball, if they could go play football with their friends for no cost. Where do we stand as a game in attracting them when they have to spend money to just enjoy the sport, or spend exorbitant and often necessary amounts of money to enjoy the sport. So when I came across Youth on Course, their whole mission was, we want to provide access to the game for as little as possible. And so they go to all of these courses. I think there are 1,500 courses now nationwide, and they subsidize the rounds for kids to go out there and play. So for the same $5, a kid can come up to a course and play all day. And, I when I heard about their mission, it touched me so deeply, because obviously I go back to my story and I see the crossover there. But you realize what the opportunity there is like, it's allowing kids the opportunity to form a relationship with the game on their own terms, which I think is important. I think that there's a lot of organizations out here that do a lot of, hand holding and show kids the values and things of that nature. But I really think that it's important that we find, sorry about that. I really think that it's important that we find opportunities to allow kids to go out and develop their own personal relationship with the game and develop an affinity on their own terms. And I think that will bode well for growth in the game. And so I started working with them a couple years ago. This year I became an official ambassador with Youth on Course. Last year, we raised a bunch of money, and what they do is they host their major fundraisers called the 100-Hole Hike. You raise $10,000 per person. You go out there and you walk 100 holes straight for the kids. You put yourself through something very grueling, which, us as golfers, I don't really feel like we put our bodies to the test enough anyway. And I want to make sure people understand that this still is a sport. So I feel like I'm doing the most challenging thing in golf by doing this. But this year, the opportunity came back up. I was looking for support as far as who are the people that believe in what Youth on Course is, who believe in what their mission is and believe in this opportunity. And I got in contact with Nick, and he, told me about all of the things that you all were working on in this community. And he told me there might be an opportunity for us to work together, to maybe bring this to fruition for our team and raise the money necessary to kind of satisfy the request of the organization. And, that amongst other things is the reason I'm here. But I really want you guys to go and check out Youth on Course, see the things that they're doing, see the people that they're working with, and see some of the impacts that they're having as far as, getting kids to develop relationships with golf in ways that a lot of us otherwise wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've talked a lot, Roger, about once we actually have our course, what it's going to look like for the surrounding community. And this sounds like the perfect fit for us to potentially look into being a part of this program where we can have kids come in and play and hang out as a safe spot at our course. So as Roger mentioned, I'm going to put out a proposal that I hope everyone here will support, and I'll be hopefully donating yes for, and that's going to be to donate $10,000 here to the cause, and it goes directly to Youth on Course. Essentially, that's just going to go directly to subsidizing kids to actually go around and play all over the country for only $5. And I think it's critical to our mission, our ethos, and who we are. And I hope you'll agree. And for those of you who also might be interested, because I saw a chat for donating directly, I'll go ahead and also post a link directly to Roger's page and to Youth on Course in the chat as well, in case anyone wants to do an additional donation personally. But yeah, so Roger, I know you got a flight to catch soon, but anything else you wanted to say before you gotta head off?
No, the last thing I want to say is just, when we think about, the NFT space, and we think about, real world utility for projects like these, and we think about the communities that they're building. I saw a lot of people in the chat saying, this is the best project, going on right now. And I think that, what you all are on the precipice of doing is unparalleled in so many ways, and a testament to the type of people that are out here in the world. And so I hope that all of you carry an immense amount of pride for what you've been a part of and what you've been able to accomplish in this amount of time. And, me personally, I look forward to continue to share things about this mission and this journey. And I have no doubts that the synergies between what you're trying to accomplish, some of the partners I have and the traction that I'm sure is coming for you guys in the very near future, that all of these things that you all are speaking about is going to come to fruition in a very reasonable amount of time. So I really just want to tell you how much I appreciate y'all time, and I look forward to all of the things that are coming in the future for this community.
Likewise. Thanks so much, Roger. Really appreciate you coming up. Everyone, be sure to follow him on socials. He'll be, I'm sure, sending out some content tomorrow while he's walking all over the place. And yeah, Roger, when you get back to Chicago, let's play. So
100%, man.
Great meeting you, Roger. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much, and good luck tomorrow. Really exciting.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Roger coming out. And I would love now to turn it over to ETH, as we have a POAP for everyone. And I'm going to drop that link here in announcements so that we can all participate in this with the secret word.
Hey,
How's it going, ETH?
very cool. Yo. That was really cool. By the way, I'm
Really
really
cool.
stoked about. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Like, it's off the charts hype right now. So cool. I actually have two updates. One's regarding NFT NYC. We did a raffle. So if you participated and you were able to collect the POAP there and you entered for the raffle, that is now closed, and we have selected those winners through the automated system through POAP. So if you've won, we're in contact with you. Thank you for participating and going to NFT NYC. All right, for this POAP, we've got our 6-month anniversary raffle. It's a way to say thank you for being here with us. So what I'm going to do here, some of you already, we've dropped kind of the process in the podium questions channel so that you can go through the process. I will go through the process here with you, but at first, I'm going to drop the secret word, which you will need to mint that POAP. If you look at my PFP, the secret word is being updated right now, and that's how you should update it in POAP app. So download the POAP mobile app, enter the secret word links6, okay? Mint that POAP, enter the, you will go down to the bottom right corner, it says mint, you will select secret word, throw in all caps, LINKS 6. All right, so you guys will have until 10 p.m. Eastern to mint that POAP. I know it's a bit of a short window, but we've got to keep these mints short. And so in order to move forward, once you mint that POAP, we've dropped that link to the raffle page. You'll connect your wallet, and you'll be able to enter the raffle from that page with the wallet that contains that POAP. Now to kind of commemorate again our 6-month anniversary, we will close the drawing for that raffle on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you only have until 10 p.m. to mint the POAP, but once you have that POAP, you'll have till Saturday to enter the raffle using that link. If you have any questions, I'll be available here in the POAP, the Podium Questions channel. I'll hang out there, just tag me. If I understand, like, there are some kind of clunky aspects to it, but hey, this is Web3, so I would love to hear your feedback on maybe ways to improve it or some new ways to run raffles or POAPs that, maybe I haven't considered yet. So, it takes a village. So if you have a better way, would love to know it and improve it as fast as possible. Cool. That's it. And again, the prize is one leisure NFT, if you didn't already know that. So
one LinksDAO NFT. Awesome.
Yep, that's right.
Raffling that off.
Cool. Thank y'all.
We are in touch with the people who claimed the NFT NYC raffle as well. So that's awesome to hear. Really, really excited about that. And if you're interested in winning more prizes, that's not the only thing we're giving away today here on Community Tuesday. At 8 o'clock, we have our quiz house brought to you by Tungsten as the quiz master. You can show up for the trivia game. It's got a nice theme, and we will be giving out a prize in the quiz as well this evening. So super stoked about that. Remember, go to the POAP app, claim your POAP, LINKS 6, all caps, and we will have that going. I do want to turn it over. We have another announcement for the new proposal process. So I'd love to flip it back to Mr. Senor, talk about that quickly before we wrap up here.
Yeah, everyone's favorite topic, governance. It feels funny following all of this exciting stuff, but governance is incredibly important. So let's talk about it. So we launched the governance process that we currently have back in end of January to support some initial votes. We've been using that for the first 10. It's worked as a process, lots of room for improvement. Jared from the Ops Pod has been leading a complete overhaul of the end-to-end process. So that includes sort of how ideas go from idea to conversation to temp check to request for comment. How do we open it up so that not only more people can be involved, but also there's good checks and balances on things like reasonability, security, trustworthiness, financing, etc. So this whole thing, huge overhaul. He's done a ton of work. So I just want to shout out Jared for all of that. Tons of other members of the community team provided a lot of great feedback. Brian S. helped get this sort of all into clarity so that we can operationalize it. All very exciting stuff. We do want to open it up to conversation on the new platform we're going to be using for RFCs. We're going to be taking discourse, not Discord. We're going to be taking discourse away. We'll port over all the previous RFCs so that they're still there. We don't lose the conversation. But my dog sees something across the street. We're going to launch this on Commonwealth.
Woof, woof, woof.
Woof, woof. She's excited about governance. So we are going to put this into Commonwealth. Yes, it's a new tool. We believe that it's much easier to use on mobile. We believe that it's a Web3 native tool, and there's a lot of different aspects there, like token gating, that we can take advantage of to make sure that only members can comment. It's way better than Discourse. Hope you agree, but if not, provide some feedback. We're going to post that in the announcements, members' announcements today. The link to Prop 11. Prop 11 will then include two documents. One is on the governance process, and there's another governance document in there that's incredibly important as we think about how the DAO operates. So go in there, please participate, read through. You can leave comments. We're going to keep it open for 5 days. We wanted to give a lot of room to breathe because it's such a sort of significant change in how we do the governance at LinksDAO. So please take a moment to read it, leave comments, have a discussion. We're radically inviting feedback. And then once we close the RFC, we'll put it to a snapshot vote, either the weekend or early in the week, depending on how the conversation goes and how much we need to update and iterate. And then we'll do a vote. And then from there, all of our proposals will follow the new governance process. So I'm very excited again. Shout out to Jared for getting this together. I think y'all will notice the care and attention of just a really professional and scalable governance process that this community deserves. So we'll post that in the member announcements, and everyone can get to comment.
Radical. Awesome. Stoked about that. That's going to be really, really great. I know we're going on like 50 minutes here, so I really want to be respectful of everybody's time as we, are going to have another fun event tonight here. If anybody else on the stage would like to chime in, say anything, I want to thank Jim so much for joining us from across the pond, Eth for helping out with the POOPs, Nick for helping out with the partnerships and getting Roger Steele up here and involved. Anything else that we want to chime in before we say goodbye for now?
Stick around after Quiz House. When content? Tonight, Genesis Tour. Teaser drops 8:15 p.m.
I almost forgot, Tungsten. Oh man, I previewed a video last night. If you guys voted for the Doug tour, if you participated, if you hosted Doug, or just have seen the tweets, the man is on fire, and we have the first preview dropping tonight. It'll be on YouTube, releasing at 8:15. So thank you so much for reminding me, Tungsten. Stoked about that.
We'll share links on Twitter and the Discord. Teaser tonight, full episode Thursday. Thank you, everyone, for your support on the tour. We can't wait to entertain y'all for the rest of the summer.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. This has been really, really fun. Thanks for everybody who listened this far in the recording. And yeah, guys, we're gonna buy a golf course. So appreciate everybody for coming in. Keep it open for 5 more minutes. If anyone wants to pop up and ask a question, do a little Q&A. If not, we can call it a day here, or call it a couple hours until Quiz House. Okay, no requests. Well, I guess that's a good thing. I'll be posting these slides for Mr. Senor's presentation. And thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.
Talk to y'all later.
Thanks, everyone.